Today's show is sponsored by the ABV Barrel Shop. The ABV Barrel Shop is located in the St. Louis metro community of Arnold, Missouri. The ABV Barrel Shop is focused on one thing, single barrels. Best of all, you can try before you buy. Head over to abvbarrelshop.com to sign up for their email and text distribution so you know what they have in stock, what classes are coming up, and who from the industry may be coming in to visit. The ABV Barrel Shop. It's where single barrels live. We're also sponsored by the Bar to Go. The Bar to Go offers traveling minibars that are no bigger than a small purse or toiletry bag. Best of all, they are fully customizable so you can create the perfect piece that is unique for you. If you own your own business, what a fun and unique way to promote what you do. Check them out online at thebartogo.com. That is the number 2 in the Bar to Go. If you have wholesale questions, call my friend Isabel Clark at 504-481-1297. Finally, we are sponsored by the Neely Family Distillery. NFD is a family-owned business that keeps ringing up awards in the spirits world. Head to Sparta, Kentucky to experience the family history, award-winning spirits, and meet the Neely family. Check them out online at neelyfamilydistillery.com. Now, on to the show.
Let's drink!
Welcome to the Bourbon Daily, the podcast about everything bourbon delivered to you every day of the week. Today on the show, we look at some of the research we've done over at Breaking Bourbon. I didn't read these notes at all.
We had nothing to do with it, by the way.
We did not have anything.
Someone did the research.
We didn't research anything. Breaking Bourbon researched this. And we're going to discuss whether we think limited edition releases will see a price correction or not.
Yep,
my name is Miss Beka Sue. Please join me welcoming my co-host, Steve Akeley, as well as our special guests, Darren McElroy, Steinkamp, and Goeken.
Hey, gang, what's up?
Howdy.
Hey, y'all.
Hey,
Good to be back.
Yeah, Miss Beka Sue. We're with 2 people here that are like Cher or Elvis. They just go by one name now. So you got Goeken and Steinkamp. yeah. So
I'm not sure how that happened.
right. It's a thing. So yeah, we'll talk about LEs and are they going to be coming down? Breaking Bourbon did this as a topic. I thought it's interesting because, as more and more things begin to hit and this influx of whiskey that's been laid down, and apparently, over demand or supply, will we start seeing some pullback on some pricing? I don't know. Maybe they'll hold the line, and these are the big companies are most affected by these. They are the ones that do the yearly LE releases, the ones that have kind of gotten out of control pricing wise. And will they pull it back, or are they going to stick to it and know that they'll sell less over time? I don't think in the short term anything changes, but over time, consumer patterns may change. We'll see. We'll get to that after the break. For right now, Beka said there's something she wanted to talk about. What is that, Beka?
Yeah, I was thinking about this earlier. My husband does not like to ride around and go do errands by himself.
Okay.
He absolutely detests it. He gets upset at me if I'm like,
Right.
I have other things I have to do.
Yeah.
Like, he's the boss, and so he gets confused about how it's possible that I could have anything else to do that concerns anything else, which it involves the business, but he's like, no, you can just come with me. But I want to know if you guys are, do you need someone with you often? Like, do you want to have like a partner in crime, or when you're like going and doing like mundane things, do you like to have someone with you? Or are you like, no, this is great. I love to do this by myself. I can just like diddy daddle around, which is my preference. Honestly, I like to just go, like, I'll just walk around a store for way too long and just think about stuff, I guess.
I'll take this first because I'm going to actually kind of take both sides of it here. I'm going to stand up for Royce, but I'm also going to say the opposite of what Royce wants here.
He's going to politician it, right?
I am. I'm going to politician it. For me, I just
Right
want to
down
go
the
and
middle.
get something knocked out. But I live in a town called Oakville. I can be up at a store where I picked, like the hardware store. I can be there in 3 minutes and home in 3 minutes after I get the stuff, which will take 3 minutes. I can be home in 9 minutes and get the errand done. With Royce, he's got to get in the car, and anything is like 25 or 30 minutes away. That's just to get to the store, unless you can get it from the Love Convenience Mart up there. An errand is kind of a big deal where he's at. I can see where you'd want to bring someone because it's mundane. You're just in the car. You got to go somewhere. It's like a whole thing. So I'm gonna stand up for him, even though I'm saying it's not my thing. But I'm in a different situation than him.
That's fair.
So I am probably also in a different situation. I would love to go to the store with people. I just don't have anyone that I need to go to the store with. So
if anybody's looking for a store going, buddy, maybe you need to move by Royce. Darren, let's go get this.
Darren, if you lived here, he would just bring you everywhere, and I'm not kidding.
See, that sounds fun to me.
Yeah.
And I'm not complaining about it necessarily, but like there's sometimes where I just like there's things that I need to do that don't pertain to exactly what Royce is currently doing, or like there's like paperwork things I have to do, like single barrel stuff I have to do, and Royce is just like, no, like you just need to come here, and I'm like going to the hardware store with him, and I'm like, I have actual things, like there's actual things that are important that I need to do, and I'm not even going inside the hardware store.
I have. I guess both ways as well. There are some places I want to go by myself, like the hardware store is one, because I like to. If I got a project going on, I've got a couple of ideas of how I want to do it, and so I want to maybe take pieces of stuff at the hardware store and kind of put it together on my own and figure something out. And so
build shit in the back aisle.
yeah.
He's sitting there with Lego bricks.
Oh yeah. This will work. All right, so this is what I need, and then I get all my stuff. And the wife really doesn't, care about that kind of thing. But for the most part, if we're going to go somewhere, I want to take her with me. Uh-huh. We enjoy, being together, even doing mundane stuff like grocery shopping, because it's like, what's next on the list? I'll go get that one, and we can knock stuff out, in half the time, and we get to spend time together.
Oh, that's nice.
See, I went to the grocery store the other day with my sister to get ready for Super Bowl, and for some reason it took us 3 times the time, but it was a blast. It was like a 2-hour adventure to get some salami, but man, we touched everything in that store, making fun of it, and that's why I enjoy that.
Okay, what about Steinkamp?
Brandy and I are pretty independent, and so typically those kind of things are done without the two of us. Our schedules a lot of times don't jive with everything that I've got going on. So usually I want to get in, get out, be done, and like Steve said, I can usually everything's within 5 minutes of me. So
right.
Now that doesn't mean we don't like spending time together. We absolutely do, but those are usually like, let's go have dinner or do something else besides the mundane stuff.
Right.
So
See,
I'm fine by myself.
Apparently Goken's wife listens to the show because he threw that out there.
Yeah.
He was blinking. This isn't true. If you could read Morse code.
Morse code.
This is not true, but
See, I'm in a unique situation where I work with my husband.
Yeah.
I probably spend more time with Royce than most people spend with their significant others.
Right.
True.
And so I personally
also goes back to a small town.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of shit to do if you're going to do something.
But I also work with him.
Right.
And so our schedules are pretty much the same all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's why, I like to go to the grocery store by myself, and just like, I'll be gone for like 4 hours in the afternoon, because I'll like go to Target and I'll go to the grocery store just because I'm like wandering around. I get a coffee, and it's just like, I don't have to rush. If I take Royce with, I have to like rush through the store, and I just want to just putz around,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because when men get in a store like that, it's just, we're on a mission.
It's a mission.
Like, this out.
But if it's a gun store, you guys fucking putz around.
Yeah.
If it's a store, if it's
true.
a store that you're interested in, then you're gonna
Like the
putz
hardware
around,
store.
and it's
Yeah.
a billion times worse because there's literally nothing else to look at. At least in like a Target or even Kroger, at least like you're like, oh, I actually do want this food, so you're gonna grab stuff. at least in a Target, there is things that a man would be interested in. And I'm not saying women don't like guns or things like
Yes.
that, but like if I go to the Sportsman's Warehouse, I'm like standing there and I'm like, there is nothing to fucking look at. And I just like go and find a bench and sit there for like 45 minutes and I'm like, this is the worst. And so
Why are you looking at the guns?
I don't
You
care
might
about
need
guns.
you might need your. You just were telling me the story of just last night, where you might have needed a gun.
Yeah,
for
but
home
we
security.
already. I don't need to go look at guns. I have guns.
You need one that's just yours. That's just Becca's.
I do have.
As you
I've
look.
got two. I have two guns that are just mine.
I was gonna say you got to have your own gun already, right?
Yeah, I have my
Needs
own
another
guns.
one. She needs another one that has some sort of carry piece that fits onto your thigh that you can be strapped on nude. Apparently,
Yeah,
'cause she
and
was
even
nude running around. Gonna defend
I
her own.
was nude running around the house. We had an incident last night.
Imagine breaking into Becca's house and there she is.
Yeah.
She's nude. You're like, stop right there. Or I'm gonna.
Yeah. I need my
Gonna what,
my side piece for when I'm running around like
Yeah.
that in the house. Well, I didn't know that there was I'd hung up some relatively heavy mirrors in Royce's bathroom, and he likes to take just insanely long showers.
Well known,
Like
documented.
like
yep.
well documented, very long
Right.
shower.
Yep.
And he took a particularly long one last night.
Even for him.
Everything that was all fine.
What's he
Nothing-
doing in there?
Sleeping
Yeah, he sleeps.
in the hot water.
I know this. I've been in a hotel
Scary.
room before.
And it was a particularly long shower, and I finally kicked him out of the bathroom and I was like, no, I need to go to sleep, and I'm not gonna like sit here and like wait. Like you're not sleeping in the shower all night. Because it was like it was like super, super humid in there. Like there was like water dripping off the walls. Like it was like just not good for the overall.
Do you go in and check on him and make sure he's not drowning while he's
Right.
sleeping in there?
Mostly I'm just like checking on the integrity of the bathroom, but I do check to make sure he's alive as well.
Okay.
But I kicked him out of the bathroom finally, and it was like 3 a.m. and I finally go to sleep, and I woke up at 3:15 to a horrifying sound that I could not identify in my brain, like what sound had just occurred in
Right.
the house. I thought Royce had like rolled off the couch or something. Like I didn't really know what had just happened. And I go downstairs, he's dead to the world. Hasn't moved an inch. Didn't hear a fucking thing. And I was upstairs, and this happened on our main floor, so it was loud,
Oh.
like super loud. And Dean is on high alert. He's rushing around, and I'm like, okay, this is not good if the cat's freaking out. And what happened was the mirror fell off in our bathroom and fell onto our counter.
Too humid.
Yeah.
Yes.
Did it
The
shatter?
glue came undone.
Yeah, it was. So it somehow the mirror didn't break. I'm not
This is
entirely
crazy.
sure how, but it also, when it fell down, I have some like metal candlesticks in there, and so it knocked all those over. So then that was like the
More
secondary
noise.
weird sound I heard. I heard the crash, bang, clatter, and I was freaked out because when I saw him still laying there, and I was like, what the fuck could this have been? I was like, someone broke into our house.
So you're in bed upstairs. Did Royce not take his shower in the bathroom attached to the bedroom?
No.
The
And
upstairs
is this
bathroom,
where the mirror fell?
the upstairs bathroom is my bathroom. The main floor bathroom is his bathroom.
You'll see if you ever go there.
That's a good
it's-
question. Actually,
It's a lay down shower. It's specifically designed for
big
laying
enough
down.
that Royce could lay down in it. Yeah. And so and
Custom
then
built.
I just left him on the couch because that's where he wanted to sleep at. So I left him there. And so I was upstairs.
Okay.
And
I
then
thought you were on the same level, like next
No.
to the bedroom where the bathroom where the mirror falls,
No,
and
I-
you went downstairs for the sound.
No, I was upstairs, and so
Okay.
that's why I was like, that's what it was super loud from upstairs, and so my adrenaline was just pumping, and I was just like, I thought about putting on clothes, and I'm like, whatever,
Sure. No.
I'm just going down here to like I'm gonna scare the shit out of someone if they do.
I'm either putting on a show or I'm laying somebody out.
Yeah, like something bad's gonna happen, but nothing did happen. Luckily, it was just a mirror that fell off a wall.
I can't
That
believe
was
it didn't
very scary.
break.
I don't know how it did not break. I was happy because
They
7
put
years.
good backing on those things anymore.
Yeah, 7
They're pretty
years.
strong.
7 years bad luck there. If it would have, I'm hoping before Sunday I'll have some new mirrors reattached in that bathroom. Because I'm just like I'm not putting those ones back up. They're already hard enough to put up, and I'm. Just
You're
gonna
not
get
dealing
the
with it.
mirrors.
You're
I'm
dealing
not. I'm not fucking doing it.
No.
So if you're gonna take a trip to go look for mirrors, are you gonna take Royce with you?
I'm gonna take his credit card.
Oh, okay, all right.
There you go.
He's with me.
Well,
See, I
In
brought
essence.
that all the way back around.
Would you actually go look for mirrors, or would you just order them offline?
Mirrors I will not order online.
Okay.
That is one thing I will not order online because mirrors, the quality of mirrors is you never know the quality you're gonna get. You've got to look at the mirror you're gonna buy.
gotta
because-
Yeah,
What's the
you
mirror?
want a mom and pop glass and mirror shop for that kind of
Well,
thing.
usually I would say yes. Like I like vintage shops for that. But I will say Target for just like if
Oh,
that's where
God,
you can
Target.
go to has the best like mirrors you can find in just a regular place.
okay.
If you're just like looking
Okay.
for a good mirror somewhere, Target
Sponsored by Target.
has the best fucking mirrors that I've found at a pretty reasonable price. I mean, mirrors are kind of expensive, but they're really not that expensive.
And
I
they're
think
tough.
Yeah, so
Tough mirrors.
yeah, I can't believe it. I am baffled. It literally fell into the faucet.
Wow.
Like when I found the mirror, it was resting on the faucet. So I don't know how it didn't just break in half. So
Even Dean was up ready to defend the house.
oh, he was ready. He was ready to rock.
He was ready. Everybody
wanted
but
to-
Royce. Royce is just still gently sleeping. He was
He
fine.
didn't fucking move a centimeter.
Did you tell him about it, or did he just walk in and see the mirror sitting on the ground like, what the fuck?
The next morning, he comes upstairs. Gosh, what happened last night? I'm like,
We haven't had an incident like this on the show since McNew got drunk and tore down the shower curtain and blamed the cat. Well, the cat must have climbed up there. It was her falling into it and tearing it down.
I mean, like, did Royce physically pull down the mirror?
No. But
Did
he
Royce's
caused it.
actions cause this?
Yeah.
Yes. The 90 to 2 hour or longer shower naps that he likes to take, yeah, they affect the integrity of your bathroom.
Well, yeah. It basically turned it into Vietnam. That's what
Yeah.
it was in that. It was not. It was no longer Sparta, Kentucky. That was
That's
Vietnam.
what it felt like. When I opened that door, I was like, I felt like I was in like Rambo or whatever.
Right. Yeah.
going
There's
through
an
the jungle.
opportunity here. I think you need to get a small barrel, like a 5 or 10 gallon, put it in there, and you could have a Royce shower aged whiskey.
Yeah, it would affect it because of how much humidity
Right?
is in there.
Right. I mean,
True.
Jefferson's did the
Yeah.
True.
the tropics. Yeah.
Yeah, this would be tropic aged for sure.
Yeah.
It was
Yes. In the
worse
Neely's
than
bathroom.
than the Amazon rainforest is how, I mean, it was, I like opened the door and I was like, what the, and I turned on the fan.
Yeah.
Right.
It was that
That's
bad.
not good for your house.
No, it's
No.
not good for your house. No. Yeah.
Probably
You
black
start getting
mold
that-
in there now.
You start getting that black mold. Yeah. You
Yeah.
got to be careful with that shit. No doubt. All right. On that note, guess what, gang? It's time to drink. What is everyone drinking? Let's start with Darren. Darren looks like he's ready to go.
I got a Peerless single barrel here, cinnamon apple strudel.
Okay. Okay. Decent, kind of. I would say is the best I can call that. Old Jet Brothers, Sauterne finish. All right. Let's see what we got here. Terrible. Darren still got the lead. That was so bad.
You getting out of bed in the morning.
Yeah, yeah. All right, Becca's next. Becca, what do you got?
I've got some Woodinville straight bourbon whiskey. This is just 90 proof.
90 proof. Okay, that's our lead right now. That's our lead. All right, Jim, you're next.
In keeping with the theme of the show, I went for what I think is a limited edition 2019 Yellowstone.
Mhm.
This is not only a limited edition, but this is a single barrel of the limited edition that, according to Steve Beam, was so good, they did not want to put it into the batch for the limited edition, and they made a single barrel out of it. So it's number 310 written right here at the bottom.
It's a limited edition.
Yes. And here we go. Ugh, nothing.
No, Beka has the lead, but Steinkamp is yet to go. What do you got there, sir?
I got some Peerless double oaked, but a well-loved bottle. We'll see what happens.
Okay. No, nothing there. Beka wins. So Beka wins. Cheers to Beka.
Cheers.
Cheers.
All right, we'll take a quick break, and then when we come back, we're going to be talking about Ellie's. The price is going to be coming down. We'll do that in just a few. Okay, let's talk about the people that make these shows happen. First up is the Stave and Thief Society. Via their in-person class at Moonshine University in Louisville, Kentucky, the Stave and Thief Society is the place where you, a bourbon enthusiast, can expand your knowledge and emerge an executive bourbon steward. In 2017, I completed my executive bourbon steward certification. It's the most comprehensive bourbon certification available and connects you with an expansive network of bourbon enthusiasts and professionals. Check out the full listing of in-person and online certifications and join the society today by enrolling at staveandthief.com. Speaking of Executive Bourbon Steward certification, the ABV Barrel Shop in St. Louis, Missouri has developed a unique partnership with the Stave and Thief Society to offer a preparatory class to assist you in getting your Executive Bourbon Steward certification. This prep class costs only $25 and is available to take live or online via Zoom. Graduates of our class receive a coupon code good for 15% off your Executive Bourbon Steward certification held in Louisville, Kentucky. This saves you almost $90. Additionally, you can collaborate with fellow attendees to split travel costs when you go to Louisville. If you're interested in signing up for the class, simply head over to abvbarrelshop.com and check out the classes and events page. Last but not least, we are sponsored by Neely Family Distillery. Royce Neely is the 11th generation distiller in one of America's oldest distilling families. A visit to Neely Family Distillery takes you through family history, where you can see all the artifacts and newspaper clippings through the years from this family that started distilling in America after James Neely arrived from Northern Ireland in 1740. Today, Royce Neely and his team are crafting some of the best spirits in America. Their bourbon and absinthe offerings keep winning top honors in the spirits competitions. Recently, their absinthe made history as the first platinum winner in the absinthe category at the San Francisco Spirits Competition. Neely Family Distillery is definitely a bucket list destination if you are a bourbon fan. Learn more about their spirit offerings, visiting their facility, and the awards they have collected over at NeelyFamilyDistillery.com. And now, back to the show.
Hello, this is Matt Rainey, and you are listening to The Bourbon Daily. One day when I grow up, I'm going to grow a big boy beard, just like Colonel Steve.
Welcome back to the Bourbon Daily. Today we're talking about whether or not limited edition bourbons are going to come down in price.
Yes, we are. So, we have seen as bourbon has continued to grow in excitement and enthusiasm that the prices have been creeping up. And some of them have taken, much bigger strides than others. King of Kentucky, I think that was $100 the first year they did it. It's now $350. Wild Turkey Master's Keep was also a $100 bottle that the first year, which is really an incredible whiskey. I know they were clearancing that out at one time for like $75. Now it's $275 for those. Master's Keep, Russell's Reserve 15, $250. Four Roses Ellie's $220. Again, that was a $100 bottle. I remember when it went up to $130, I was like, holy shit, unbelievable. Birthday Bourbon, $200. That was an old $75 bottle all day long. Little Book, The Infinite, well, that's hard to judge because that's kind of a newer one, but that was $180. Cellar Age, $175 from Maker's Mark. Parker's Heritage, $170, also used to be a $100 bottle. And the Antique Collection, I don't think that's anything offensive about that price of being $150. I think that's still a value. But Do we think that one of the offshoots of what's going on in whiskey right now, and certainly we're seeing some of these big heritage brands laying people off, making changes, is one of the offshoots of that going to be some of the prices coming down on these sort of releases?
So I don't think they're going to go as far down as they once were, because I honestly think with like how people think about whiskey now, a lot of those were underpriced to begin with, but no one was ready to commit to $100 bottle. Like I don't think that King of Kentucky is $100 bottle. I think that is better than $100 bottle.
Okay.
And so I think it will go down a little bit, but I don't think it's going down back to $100. I don't think we're at that point yet.
Can it though? I mean, what's the statement to make if you come up with King of Kentucky 2024, it's $350, and then in 2025 you're like, it's only $250 this year. That's kind of a bad reflection on what you're doing, right? I mean, you got to look at both sides of things. These are tough conversations that they're going to have. They've got a glut of whiskey, no doubt about it. And they don't want to cut their throats as they're making moves. I think they've got some tough questions that they gotta think about and answer.
Is the glut though in those limited editions, or is it in the general pop, so to speak, of whiskey?
It is all the above because they're not different really. I mean, King of Kentucky is not. There's no such thing as King of Kentucky. That's just like anything else. They put away barrels that they're like, oh, these are special ones. So it's the same old thing that they've got for their other stuff. I mean, most of these birthday bourbon, they're not distilling, specific. Well, maybe they do on that one. That's a bad example because they do say it's distilled this day. But yeah, I mean, Four Roses limited edition. Again, they're just tasting the barrels.
I don't. But are those bottles sitting on the shelves longer than they used to?
I don't think they sit on the shelf at all.
I'm asking. I don't know. Are those now sitting around?
No.
I don't know. No, they're not sitting around. But does that mean that okay? Well, let's just release more of those at $350. Well, let's do twice as many King of Kentuckys at $350 because we can still make it to that. Do you release the?
No, this is the same conversation. So I saw Buffalo Trace release something today about it's continuing to ramp up because we're making twice as much bourbon. If everything there's twice as much Buffalo Trace, even all the the good stuff, is it as valuable? Will the secondary price be the same? What it'll be interesting to see what happens to pricing
because
Buffalo Trace.
You're asking short-term questions for long-term answers there. Because in reality, we're seeing this happen already on a smaller scale. Colonel E.H. Taylor, small batch. On the shelves, I see it. Right. I see it in Illinois, Southern Illinois. I saw a store that had 8 cases of it. 8 cases,
at reasonable prices.
$83.99, which would be under the old school reasonable. When all that goes away, and then they fill it with 8 more cases at $83. At what point is it's like no? Let's not forget that's a $40 bourbon. That's a $40.
Right. Yeah, that's $43 at the distillery, and it's available. All the time. Half of the days it's the pick.
And I've shot videos of how much of that they have, where they're literally probably 1,000 bottles on the shelf. And this is the type of there's so much of that stuff. It's this false thing. Is it still selling? Absolutely. Are people running over to Southern Illinois right now and buying $83.99? Colonel H. Teller small batch? Yes. Will they do that in a month when they go back? Yes. Will they do that in 2 months? I don't know. Do you keep buying $83.99 when it's there every time you go?
How many bottles of Colonel Taylor do you need?
I don't even want to buy any more at 43. I mean, it's just.
Yeah.
I don't know. So. I think the true limited edition ones, that there's, I don't think a lot of production, or at least I've never seen the stuff on the shelves. Mm-hmm. I don't think there's any price coming down on that for several years because it's limited. They're somebody still is going to want that.
And the fact is, most of these limited editions are older than a standard EH Taylor, so there's more tax money that's going in every month or every year, however often they have to pay it, that they are responsible for more costs.
Yeah, but they were responsible for that cost when it was $100 versus $350.
Yeah,
I
just
still
think the
managed to
world's
do it
changed
somehow.
so much that they realize they can make more money, like make some money back rather than just.
I can't. I get it. I get it. But if we were doing this show 8 years ago and we were talking about Whistle Pig, and you guys would be like, they fucking figured it out. They cut out the fucking secondary. These guys are geniuses. Look at what they're doing with that, with Boss Hog. Those fuckers got Whistle Pig. When's the last time you bought a bottle of Whistle Pig? When's the last time you heard about Whistle Pig? When's the last time anybody's talked about Whistle Pig? When has anybody cared about Whistle Pig?
The Christmas pig decanter is the last.
Yeah,
that's
the butt
the only.
chugs.
Yeah, the only thing I heard about him this past
So
year. Yeah.
proceed with caution when you keep charging the high prices. It might be fine for a while, but eventually it might bite you in the ass too.
Well,
Yep.
but some of it is inflationary as well. I mean,
Sure.
a
I get
$100
that.
bottle, 10 years ago is a $200 bottle now. So I still don't want to pay $200.
I somewhat get that, but when Old Crow is still $14, 20 years ago,
Yeah.
Why does inflation hit all aspects of the business? I mean, so I just want them to proceed with caution. It's at a delicate time in bourbon right now, and there can be mistakes made that have repercussions down the road if they're not careful. So that's all I'm saying.
Will anyone actually be upset if Old Forester was like, "Hey, birthday bourbon, what the pricing wasn't fair. We're going to knock $25 off of it." Is anyone going to be like, "Oh, that's not good, as good whiskey anymore"? Oh, like if they release a
no, because they still have thousands and thousands of people putting in trying to get that right.
I think
a ton.
That price isn't coming. I don't see that price coming down.
Mm-hmm.
I think
But-
the Four
but
Roses
some-
LE is that way as well, right? It's a lottery, and
Yeah,
you hear
to get it from the
everybody puts their
distillery.
name in it, and
That one does
Yeah.
get out more than, say, a King of Kentucky. It at least goes to all 50 states, I believe, or at least 48 of them. I don't know if anything goes to Hawaii.
Poor
But
Hawaii.
like it at least has a bigger distribution network. It's not just what you can get at the distillery, which
Right.
I think a good portion of birthday bourbon is only available at the distillery.
Yeah.
Steve can correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, that's where they do most of that. They do. I mean, like the state of Missouri, I've seen allocations of like 5 bottles or something. I mean, so
Yeah, for a state.
for a state
Crazy.
Yeah.
that drinks as much bourbon as we do, Missouri, 5 bottles. And where does it, I don't even know what you do with that if you're the distributor. I have no idea. I assume you just tell everybody
Oh,
just take it home.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
but what about like
Gift
like
issues for
uh,
clients.
Members, yeah.
Old Forester, the 1924 that came out? What's that going for? $100?
Retail on it is $115.
Yeah. So
And that I've not seen it sold more since the first 2 months that it was released.
yeah. But
So-
that's where like the regular stuff is all moving up in price. That the LE, if it drops at all, it's almost the same price.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, regular and limited are closing. If limited start, dropping price, they're going to close in on the day-to-day stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that one's not a regular bottle yet either. It's still highly allocated. It's not easy to get your hands on. It's getting easier, but it's
Right.
not at the same thing as 1920, 1910, and 19 whatever the other one I'm missing is the
I think
1897.
it's bad for the bourbon industry when they toss aside simple economics and say, we're bourbon, we're different. People will buy this at this price, they'll buy this at that price. It is what it is. The supply has nothing to do with demand. It's based on marketing and excitement and passion and enthusiasm we create about specific brands within our portfolio. I don't think that's good. I think
That is the exception, not the rule, right? That is the exception, not the rule. And that's why we're seeing some of the pullback that they have to right now, right? That, it's interesting, and it's not just bourbon. There are so many industries during the pandemic that thought, "Woohoo, we've hit it now. Just keep going. We're gonna build more factories. I mean, it's also it's more than just the pandemic, though. We've talked about this many times. It's the availability of weed, right? Gummies and vapes, and has changed the whiskey as well as the beer and spirits in general. But that's not changing necessarily the limited edition stuff, because it's the kids aren't buying regular Jim Beam or Jack or whatever that the way they were. So it's an interesting time. I agree with you, Colonel. It's a very interesting time. To see how it all plays out. And you're right, caution is a good thing.
Yeah, I think so. Hopefully, whatever they do, they make the right moves, because I want this thing to keep going forever. I mean, but I keep going back to the quote, and I'll say it here. Talked about it recently on the Bourbon Show, and I just have to keep remembering that. And whatever happens to the bourbon industry happens to the bourbon industry. But the first time I ever reviewed Bronner, I asked him kind of for his closing notes, and he said something that I think very philosophical, particularly from somebody like Bronner, who's not known for that. But he said, "Hey, things change. We're on the hottest time we've ever been in our lifetimes in bourbon, and people are coming to bourbon, and everybody's excited about bourbon, and they're enthusiastic about bourbon. But trends change. And at some point, it's going to move away from bourbon. And at some point, it could be something else. It could be martinis. It could be the new thing. And everybody's going to martini bars and all that kind of stuff. And that becomes the sexy thing where everybody's doing that. But he's like, you know what? For a guy like me, I'm still going to be doing what I do. I'll still be at Bourbon's Bistro, pouring bourbon. And that's who I am. And that's who I am, too. I mean, I'm a bourbon guy. And all this other stuff aside, there's still, all these companies aren't going to go out of business. They're still going to be making bourbon. Could there be this correction that comes in and has some impact? Yes, but I'm still loving bourbon, and I think there's plenty of opportunities ahead if they play this game right.
Darren seems like he'd move to martinis pretty quickly.
Oh yeah, he'd be. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
They're right underneath Bloody Marys of how fast
he would get him some skinny jeans and a martini thing.
There are a billion different types of martinis. You can't go, oh no, martinis are a step below Bloody Marys.
No, they're a step above.
No, that doesn't actually make any sense.
He's
because
probably never
there are
had a martini.
hundreds of recipes.
I've never had a martini.
Oh my God.
There are lots of bad ones, but there are some good ones. Yeah,
but there's plenty of good ones, and there's
I don't think clear liquor is the way to go. I have a thing against most clear liquors, which
not every martini has clear liquor.
Espresso martinis, Darren. It's all dark liquids.
Yeah, sure, but
it's wonderful.
I also think that's a scam. I don't like. I've had an espresso martini.
I'm sorry.
I've had an espresso martini. We can't yell about me about this one.
How is a espresso martini a scam?
Well, scam's not the right word, but overhyped. It's not as good as people say it is.
You're not making them the right way.
They're also made a billion different ways, Darren. Okay. Every single one tastes different.
It's like a Long Island iced tea.
No, it's actually
different
Applebee's.
Every place.
Yeah.
It's America's dinner.
I've never had a martini. Well, I've had an espresso martini. Okay.
I didn't think that counted because it's not a classic martini. I've never had a classic martini with dry or sweet vermouth. I've never had one because a espresso martini doesn't have vermouth, does it?
No, not the way I've had them.
So it won't have vermouth in it.
I think that's a different drink. They're just trying to use the fame that the martini had to make it a name. Because I
stand by Steinkamp. He's the most susceptible out of this group to convert over. There's no doubt. There's no doubt.
He's the most impressionable for sure.
Oh yeah.
Darren with the chocolate martini. Look, he's Mr. Mixologist at the shop, right? He's going to be the guy with the chocolate banana martini. Absolutely.
But at some point, an old fashioned is not an old fashioned, even though if people just want to call it an old fashioned. If you're adding 4 or 5 more ingredients, it's not an old fashioned. Come up with a new name.
But it sells because it has the name old fashioned to it.
I know. That's why it's a scam. Because you're following for their marketing. All marketing is a scam.
Well, at least Martini has its own official glass. And then you're like, oh, see, it's clearly a martini. It has the martini glass.
It's in a martini glass. Yeah.
Also,
is every martini you get in a martini glass.
Yeah.
theoretically it should be, but there's dive bars, of course, everywhere.
Yeah.
So yeah, you might
Every
get in a plastic
martini
cup.
should be served in a martini glass.
Yes, I agree.
Definitely needs to be, but that's
it's a
not going to be the
different-
case. Yeah. Yeah. So there you go. There you go. That wraps this one up. And we you don't resolve anything, but you talk about it. I think getting people talking is good, and let them think about other things, because sometimes it can be very things are good. Just let it go. Just let somebody talk. Pause and talk. So there you go. We'll wrap this one up as we always do by talking about where people can find us. We'll start with Goeken.
Hey, you can find me on Facebook at Jim Goeken and on Instagram at Jimmy Big Hands, 2 G's, 2 S's.
Why 2 G's and 2 S's?
Because no 1 G and 1 S was taken. There's already a Jimmy Big Hands out there, and I'm a little upset about it.
Is that
I'm
like
a
your
little
OnlyFans account or
terrified that
what?
there's more than one
Yeah.
Jimmy Big Hands out
I
there.
am too.
Wait, have
I'm
you met
surprised
this
there's
other
one.
Jimmy Big Hands?
No.
Is this like a porn name? Jimmy Big Hands?
Did you add the other Jimmy Big Hands as a friend?
Yeah, you
No,
should.
Follow them?
no. Oh, I
respect.
should. Yeah.
And
You
then
always-
ask him to see whose hands are bigger.
Yeah.
Always.
You get the original
I
account.
have a very large paw. That's.
I mean, yeah, if I put it in the camera too, yeah, it's going to be very large.
That's huge.
yeah,
Classic
no,
way
you
that
still
men
look
show
small,
how big
Darren.
they are. Look, if I get real close to the camera, it looks huge.
Yeah, get closer.
Yeah.
It's bigger the closer you are.
Yeah. The other one that Ali was taking that he couldn't get was Jimmy Smallwiener. So he went with the two S's. And
2 L's, 2 E's.
All right. Steinkamp, how about you?
You can find me on Facebook and Instagram at Investment Whiskey.
All right, Darren.
You can find me on Instagram at The Bourbon Adventures.
Miss Beka Sue.
You can find me on Twitter and on Instagram as Miss Beka Sue, 1K, no C's.
All right, for me, I'm an easy guy to find. I'm at Steve Akeley, Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook. I've got a website, steveakeley.com. We've also got a company website. That thing's abvnetwork.com. Check it out. Everything that we do is out there. Previous shows, blogs, so much more. abvnetwork.com. Come by and see us. The ABV Barrel Shop, the place where we get new barrel picks in all the time. You never know what's happening. Always cool people in there. Check us out online, abvbarrelshop.com. Miss Beka Sue, anything else to say before we get out of here?
I'd just like to remind the audience to please give us a 5-star review that includes comments. It helps new people find the show, which is very important to us. If you like what we're doing, we ask you please visit our Patreon page at patreon.com/the ABV Network.
Great job today, gang. For audience, we'll have a brand new show for you tomorrow. Looking forward to that. Until then, take care, everybody. See ya.
Bye.
See you, everybody.
Adios.
Bye, y'all.
Peace. Before we let you go, let's talk about one last thing. The ABV Barrel Shop in the St. Louis community of Arnold, Missouri. The ABV Barrel Shop is focused on a couple of things. First of all, single barrels. We are the place where single barrels live. We go to distilleries, taste through the whiskey, select the best barrel, and have it shipped to our store where we present it to you, our customers, by allowing you to try before you buy. We're also known for the classes that we have in our education center in the store, as well as the events we have with industry professionals from the bourbon business. If you are in the St. Louis area, please come by and visit us at 6 Fox Valley Center in Arnold, Missouri. Or at a minimum, at least sign up for our email and text distribution so you know exactly what's going on in our shop over at abvbarrelshop.com. This is Steve Akeley, owner of the ABV Network, signing off. We thank you for listening to our programming and truly appreciate your support.
The Bourbon Daily is part of the ABV Network. For more information or to become a sponsor, please visit abvnetwork.com. Thanks for listening and cheers.
This has been a Steve Akeley production.